Yeah. What up, y'all? Speak the Weaver from the Drop a Gem Show, the most infamous hip hop and boxing podcast on the planet. Yo, real quick before this video drops, I just want to let y'all know we need y'all to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the bell icon. Subscribe because you want to know what's going on with the channel and be part of the Drop a Gem family. The bell icon notifies you immediately when we have a video dropping, and we drop several a week. And also hit the like button because it increases the visibility of the show. So we thank y'all for your support. Again, hit the subscribe, like, bell icon, and we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So how does it go? So how does it go from you learning how to rhyme and picking up these influences to actually wanting to make demos and start with a crew, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, things of that nature?
I mean, that started from day one. I always wanted to be an MC. You know what I mean? I always wanted to make records. When it was making record time, I always wanted to make records. I always hung out on the corner. We kicked it, talked a lot. A lot of people don't know that. You know,
Right.
before there was Wu-Tang Clan, the Jizza had a record.
Right, words
The
for the
RZA had
genius.
a record.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Yeah, Tommy boy.
homies, you know, we used to hang out. Like he told me when he was like, yo, I'm gonna make up this thing called Wu-Tang Clan, blah, blah, blah. We used to hang out. I just saw him recently. We spoke upon that. And so we would be on the corner for hours just rhyming. You know, we was battling in the street. We was doing all the things that was part of the hip hop culture because it wasn't really about making records. It was about being a dope MC, you know?
Right. So how come? So how does it go? You know, this fork in the road, and how does it go from Jeru joining the Gangstar Foundation as opposed to being the ninth, 10th member of the Wu-Tang Clan?
Cause you worked with
you know,
Master Killer, right?
Master Killer worked. Me and Master Killer worked in McDonald's together.
Yeah.
We went to the same high school.
That's crazy.
True Master. That's how I actually met the genius because of True Master. That was his boy. He came around the East to hang out. I mean, things just evolved the way they evolved. You hung out with certain different people and that's what it was. It wasn't like that. It was just that, you know, we were homies and back in the days, homies was homies and everybody had their own little MC crews or whatever. And I was hanging out with Guru and those guys. But see, I went to high school. My first DJ, Tommy Hill, who's the one who actually introduced me to Guru, my man Little Dap, Gus Mo from the hood, you know, so we was just hanging out. We used to just hang out. So I was hanging out with them dudes and it just, I don't know, it just evolved. Friendships evolved. It's not like it was something that I could go back and say, well, it happened like this or it happened like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Now I read a story. Well, I read one of your interviews, and it said that like when you first met Guru, he was like a big brother. But it was an interesting quote you said. You said that he wasn't guiding you. It's like you guys were guiding him. Does that sound familiar? Something you said?
It was more like this. We were from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? He was from a whole different
state
way of life, not just a state, way of life. You know, Guru was a college graduate.
Right.
Guru was he was a guy who his father was a judge. He didn't grow up in the street like how we grew up in the street. You know what I mean? So it was he was guiding us in certain ways, but we was making him wise to the ways of the street.
Right. Got you.
Okay.
Got you.
Okay. So you're building. So you're building with Little Dap. Gus Mo. You meet Guru, and how do we get from that to I'm the man, and then then you deciding to branch off and become a solo artist?
I mean, we was just hanging out. That's it. We just hung out. It wasn't like what you see now as far as industry. It was none of that really. You know what I mean? It was just dudes hanging out. And things happen. We would hang out every day. You get closer, you get tighter. Then one day, before you know it, you on a record. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. But I was always a solo MC. I was never like a crew MC or nothing like that. Right. So, Guru actually did my second demo. My first demo, PF Cutting did. He's in a group called Blase Blase. I knew since we were little kids because my mom used to work in his pop's restaurant back in the days. So him since we was like 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
So PF actually did my first demo, and the way that it came that I didn't have enough money to get my demo out the studio. I did my first demo in a place called Firehouse, which is a legendary studio. Wutang, I believe they did
yes,
their
the first album
in Firehouse, right? So I didn't have enough money to get my demo, and Premier had actually gave me the money. I think it was a couple $100. And I mean, I used to rob and steal and all that, but I decided I didn't want to do that. So Premier gave me the money actually to get the tape out. I actually have the cassette of my first demo that PF Khan produced. But then Guru produced my second demo. You understand what I'm saying? So and from there, and we used to just, like I said, we used to hang out. And how Come Clean came about is because the first demo, you know, people wasn't really they didn't feel it. They wasn't feeling my demo. And I went to every radio station, and Guru was like, "Yo, you know what? I know you got it." We had done. He was like, "I know you got it," and all that. We had done I'm the Man. We had done all of that. So he was like, "Yo, what we gonna do is we gonna put out our own record, like just fuck everything, and we gonna put out. I don't know if I can curse on here. I should stop. But
no, please do.
All right, so we gonna put out our own record, and that's just what happened. You know, I was in Europe. First time I came to Europe, 1992. Gangstar. I was pretty much just a roadie. I would do my verse, and but other than that, I was carrying the records and doing the sound check. And that sound check, you know, Premier was cutting up the Onyx record that had just dropped. He was cutting it up. Heads up, and he used to just practice cutting that up, you know, to do a turntable check. And I'm like, yo, when we get back, we should make a record and make that the hook, you know, and that's how that went about. So we already know what the hook was, and it went from there. We came back off tour. Premier, true to his word, he's like, I'm gonna come up with something. So he came up with the drum pattern. Then we went to his apartment. We started listening to a few records. We listened to probably about 3 records. We heard the Shelly Man record, and that was it. He was like, yo, should I loop it like this or should I loop it like this? I was like, yo, loop it like that. And the rest is, you know, Come Clean.
Wow.
You know, I heard Fat Joe say that there was like this hip hop event at Tavern on the Green one time, and he pulled up and Primo was there, and he was like, "You wanna fuck what?" Like he didn't even know it was you.
Yeah. Nobody really knew, like, cause I always played low. You know what I mean? I was never like, this. You know, a lot of dudes. I was in KRS-One sessions. He didn't even knock around, like, cause I would just rhyme in the crib and play low. Cause basically, you know, we was playing the street. I mean, I was into a couple criminal activities and things of that nature. And those days were different days. The 80s were different days. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you're from my neighborhood, when you're from East New York, you kind of play low. We known for that. You know, we known for being play low and then, you know, get you, you know, when you least expecting it. So everything was always, that's how I am to this day. You know, I don't go too out of my way to be noticed. And yeah, so that's what that was. So Joe rolled up and Preen like, yo, thanks. And he like, what do you think? He's like, yo, that's Jeru. He like, nah, that's not Jeru. Everybody's like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, word.
That single
that's Jeru.
took the
I think when you look,
you know, all listeners overseas and you know, or maybe our young listeners, I don't know if y'all understand the significance of that single. Like, you know, 94. I want to ask you, Jeru, that took the city by storm. I never heard personally a loop like that. Everything was, you know, a lot more musical
with the water drops. Yeah, the water drops.
Yo, that when you first heard that beat, was you like, let's go, this is it? What was your first reaction when Primo played that?
It was just a drum pattern first. So the loop came after. We listened to we went to the crib and we listened to like 2-3 records and we just looked at each other when we heard the doom doom and there was all these other crazy noises and we like, yo, that's the one. Because I mean, you see at that time, you know, it's much different like it is than it is today. You wanted to be more different than everybody else. You wanted to be extremely different. So because if you had a record that came out that sounded like somebody else's record, you were gonna be considered a biter. And biting is like ultimate sin. It's not like today. It's not like Jordans come out, you stand online, and everybody come to school the next day with the same sneakers on. Like back then, if you came to school, if somebody beat you, it got to school at 8 o'clock, and they had the sneakers on. When you got to school at 9 o'clock, if you had the sneakers on, you was a biter. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as fresh as when they had them on. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is, and that's just how we always want to this day. You want to be unique, so it was just so unique. Nobody had nothing like that. And I know that, you know, as far as rhyme styles, I don't really have a rhyme style. You know, I'm like Bruce Lee said, you got to be like water. So I'm going to just latch on to any beat. I never even write rhymes without beats. I haven't wrote rhymes without beats since 87 or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you write a rhyme without a beat, then it's probably going to be the same flow. You know what I'm saying? But every beat has a different flow. Every sound in the record has its own nuances, and that's what you want to latch to help you bring that style into existence. You know what I mean? And because that's what we were about. We were about creating new things. That's what hip hop was about, expressing yourself. And I can't express myself is exactly the same as you. As we both dressed alike, then who's expressing themselves? You know what I'm saying? Are you like me? You wanted to show how much different you are, how unique you were. When you came through, if you saw girls or whatever, you wanted girls to see your style was your own unique style, and you were the flyest, you know?